The Helldiver 2 devs have released a new patch that is quite major actually. It looks really good. They have balance changes to missions, stratagems, weapons, enemies, and Helldivers, as well as general fixes and stability improvements. This patch looks much bigger than the ones before it. Sorry I haven't made a video in a while. I have been sick actually. I've barely been able to talk. So anyways, let's get into this patch. It's looking great. So first of all, with gameplay, they have new planetary hazards. So we will have blizzards and sandstorms. I hope they don't block your vision too much because being blind is quite annoying, but very cool. I'm sure blizzards especially will look cool. I'm not quite a big fan of sandstorms, but I do love me some blizzards. So additionally, they have raised the minimum level cap, which is really good. I did log in today, and interestingly, I was like level 70 something, so I don't think that you stopped earning XP before, because my level went from like 50 to 76 in the span of me not playing. So I would assume that they just kept adding on XP, either that or everyone that was 50 like went up to 75, something like that. I'm not sure. But anyways, they have some balancing of missions. So for retrieve essential personnel, they moved the enemy spawn points further away from the objective to give players a fairer chance of defending the location. There are fewer civilians required to complete the mission on higher difficulties. That's good. These missions can be pretty rough, especially on the higher difficulties, so that's a good change. And then on the destroy command bunker missions, it now has more objective locations. The mission was too easy before compared to other missions, and it can now appear in operations from difficulty 5. They have the negative effects of operation modifiers that increase stratagem cooldowns or call-in times. Again, a really good change. I really think they're listening to the community here, because a lot of people, I mean, I said on Twitter and Reddit, were complaining about stratagems always having long cooldowns and basically being like, the point of the game is to have fun and call in stratagems, so why do I have like a 7-minute cooldown on this thing when I should be able to use it? I mean, that basically means you get to use it once or twice for an entire mission, which is absolutely crazy. I honestly think that the cooldowns on stratagems are still too long, and maybe they should just go like take a balancing run over all of them and shorten them, but that may just be me. So now we have a bunch of balancing changes for all the weapons in the game. There have been some complaints that I've seen about them, so we'll get there. Starting off with the arc thrower, they fixed charging inconsistencies. It will now always take 1 second to charge a shot. That's good, making things the same amount of time. Making it consistent will just make guns feel better overall. So great change there. The arc thrower reduced distance from 50 meters to 35 meters, so pretty much a nerf there. I mean, that's just a solid nerf for its range. But they actually balance that out with the next change, where the arc thrower increases stagger force. Now I haven't gotten a chance to try this out yet, but before I don't think the arc thrower really staggered at all. I mean, I think it staggered like a couple times maybe at the end once you got the enemy low, but good change here. Hopefully it staggers, you know, chargers, stuff like that. It should be a nice little buff to the arc thrower, and maybe with the reduced distance you won't hit your teammates as much as well. So the guard dog now restores full ammo from supply boxes, so that's good to know. I don't really ever use the guard dog, so honestly it doesn't really matter to me. The rover is just so much better, but coolio. The anti-material rifle damage was increased by 30%. Ooh baby, the anti-material rifle was already pretty good. I mean, the scope, like the reticle on the scope was like slightly inaccurate, but other than that it felt really good. So I'll definitely have to try that out against the automatons. I don't really think the anti-material rifle is very good against the terminids, but I do enjoy it against the automatons because you can, you know, go for the headshots and really do a ton of damage, and I think you can 2-shot hulks, stuff like that. So the breaker incendiary damage per bullet was increased from 15 per bullet to 20 per bullet. That's a great change actually. Honestly, the breaker incendiary always felt like it basically did no damage, and the change below it is even better. Fire damage per tick was increased by 50% from all sources. So what I was going to say before we got to that point is it always felt like, you know, the breaker incendiary did okay damage, but the fire damage from it was basically negligible. I rarely ever saw enemies dying from fire damage. So hopefully the increase per tick by 50% makes a difference there. I'll just have to try it out, feel what it feels like in game, but good changes for sure. The incendiary, basically I tried using it, it looks cool, but it's basically useless. The Liberator Penetrator now has a full auto mode. That's actually a nice buff to it. I already thought the Liberator Penetrator was pretty good, but having a full auto mode really does increase it. It makes it just nicer to use too. It's like a quality of life change over anything else. So Good change there. For the Dominator, they increased damage from 200 to 300. Bro, that's insane. That's a 50% increase in damage. Wonderful change. The Dominator felt like shit. It did not feel like a bolt gun. It felt like a pistol. So really good change. I'm so happy to see these buffs to weapons that basically felt unusable before. And then there was another buff to the Dominator as well. They increased stagger. So wonderful. If you're getting shot by gigantic bolts that explode, you should definitely be staggered, and it should deal more damage than it was before. So I think those are wonderful changes. It's great to see. The Diligence Counter Sniper, it increased armor penetration from light to medium. Oh my goodness, they're listening. Wonderful changes. I've been saying for a long time in a lot of my videos that both the Counter Sniper and the Marksman Rifle both should at least penetrate medium, if not heavy. It's ridiculous that, you know, the guns that theoretically would have the highest caliber in the game only penetrated light. I mean, it just made no sense at all. So at least medium, that's good to know. I'm glad that they made that change. I think they should add stagger to it. Honestly, they could increase the recoil to balance that out, but it just doesn't feel like you're shooting a big caliber gun when you use the sniper rifle and the marksman rifle. So the Slugger, they reduced the stagger on the Slugger. They reduced the damage from 280 to 250. They reduced the demolition force. They fixed armor penetration tag in the menu. So to be honest with the Slugger, a lot of people loved it. I was never a big fan. People definitely got on me about that because they loved it so much. I never really saw the appeal of running the Slugger over the Breaker. People complained about the Breaker not having enough ammo, but the Slugger was annoying because you had to like reload every single bullet. So I don't know. I don't really care because I didn't use the Slugger. I know a lot of people do care and they think it didn't really deserve the nerf, which honestly, I don't really think it deserved the nerf. It didn't feel that good to me, but I know a lot of people thought it was amazing. So I feel for y'all, sucks, but I don't really care. So then they said the Slugger, the Liberator Concussive, and the Senator, they fixed incorrect armor penetration tags in the menu. For the recoilless rifle, they increased the number of rockets you restore from supply boxes from 2 to 3. A nice change there, I like to see it. Spear, they increased the number of missiles you restore from supply boxes from 1 to 2. So nice little buffs to our stratagems that honestly don't get used that much. Though the recoilless rifle was used quite a bit when I started off in the game. And then for the heavy machine gun, which was one of the new stratagems that they added, the highest fire rate mode was reduced from 1200 RPM to a more moderate 950. So a little bit of a nerf there, but honestly not too big of one. So for stratagems, the Patriot exosuit rockets will now penetrate armor only on a direct hit. So I guess like if you missed before, the damage from the rockets would still deal damage through armor before. That's what I'm taking that to say. Honestly, that's a fine change. You should be accurate with those rockets anyway. They travel pretty fast. For enemies, they have balancing adjustments to all of them. Well, not all of them, but here are the balancing adjustments. Charger's normal melee attack now does less damage against exosuits. That's good. I'm pretty sure you could basically just get one tapped by Chargers in an exosuit, and you can't really outrun them, so it sort of felt bad. Bile spewers and nursing spewers do less damage with their puke. Thank goodness they're listening. This is another thing. Getting one shot by a bile spewer, absolutely ridiculous, man. Absolutely ridiculous. I mean, you're theoretically wearing like high-end, like high-tier armor, right? And you just get one shot by bile spewers left and right. It's the most, I mean, like in like Helldiver difficulty, right? I'm more scared of the bile spewers than a freaking bile titan, because the bile spewers just always one tap me, and there's so many of them. So thank goodness. Great change. Thank goodness. The Bile Titan can no longer be stunned. That pretty much makes sense. I mean, the Bile Titan shouldn't really be stunned. It's enormous. Shriekers no longer create bug breaches, and Shriekers hitting you while they are dead now does significantly less damage. So balancing adjustments have been made to the Helldiver as well. Heavy and medium armor protects better, and you now take about 10% less damage than before while wearing heavy, and about 5% less when wearing medium armor. Fortified commando and light armor is unchanged. Wonderful change there. Heavy and medium armor actually do stuff now. Great to see. Fixes. So we are done with the balance changes. Let's go through the fixes that they have as well as their known issues. So they fixed an issue where save settings for the PS5 would be reset when the game is rebooted, causing things such as loadout and hint settings to reset. Enemies now properly target exosuits. Previously, many enemies effectively ignored exosuits if a Helldiver on foot was available for them to target. Fixed exosuits being able to fire their weapons while opening the minimap. The Helldiver and the exosuit both had a bug that made them sometimes take explosion damage multiple times, making things like automaton rockets be too deadly. This is now fixed. Automaton enemy constellations that preferred to spawn more of a certain type Devastors types did not work and are now functioning as they should. This means that sometimes when playing against the automatons, you will face more Devastators instead of other enemy types. They have improved a system that prevents Hellpod steering close to large or important objects. I swear that was in like a fix like 2 patches ago. We have solved issues where the effective area around objects was a lot larger than intended. We have reduced the number of objects that prevented Hellpod steering. Okay, so they're just continuously reducing it. That's good. Note, this system is intended to prevent soft locks where players can drop on important interaction points or drop into unintended places. We will continue to monitor the state of the system after the update to see if any additional tweaks are necessary. That makes sense. They fixed cases where the ground under assets sometimes could be bombed, causing the assets to float. There have been some changes to the ballistic shield as well. So the collision mesh has been slightly increased in size for more forgiveness. So basically a buff. So I lied, there are more balance changes. They changed the shield pose so that less of the Helldiver is exposed, and they addressed a bug where parts of the Helldiver would become vulnerable while using the shield in first person. So honestly, it sounds like more buffs to the ballistic shield. Honestly, great to see. And finally, known issues. The game might crash when picking up a snowball or throwing back a grenade. That's never happened to me, but I believe that various issues involving friend invites and crossplays, the cross-platform friend invite system might not show up in the friend request tab. Players cannot unfriend other friends befriended via friend code. How many times can you say friend in one sentence? Players cannot unblock players that were not in their friend list beforehand. Players cannot befriend players with Steam names shorter than 3 characters. Those have been an issue for a while. I hope they get on that. It's interesting that it's taking them that long to fix that. You'd think it'd just be some simple programming fixes, but who knows. Explosive weapon stats include only direct hit damage, but not explosive damage. Explosions do not break your limbs except for when you fly into a rock. Planet liberation reaches 100% at the end of every defend mission. Drowning in deep water with a vitality booster equipped puts the Helldiver in a broken state. This has never happened to me, but I have had people confirming this happened to them in the comments. The stratagem beam might attach itself to an enemy, but it will deploy to its original location. And some player customizations like title or body type may reset after restarting the game. I really hope that they fix this last one. It's really annoying having like my emote reset every single time I restart the game. This has been an issue since the game launched, so I hope that they fix that soon. And then they had like one small fix recently, but basically they just fixed a common crash which occurred when accessing the acquisitions menu. So that is the entire patch, an absolute banger. I mean, it was really thick, really huge. I enjoyed going through it. I'll have a video coming out tomorrow covering the new battle pass, which I think looks absolutely amazing. They were the weapons that were leaked a while ago that I've been looking forward to for a while, and I cannot wait to unlock all of them. I'll go through them, I'll make videos on them as well. But anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed. I think that the devs are doing a wonderful job, much better with than a lot of the devs that have been like working on other games that I follow. I think they're really listening to their player base, and for the most part are doing what the player base wants, except for the slugger. But anyways, if you have any comments on this patch, let me know like what you think was good, what was bad. And other than that, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate y'all. I know I haven't been uploading as consistently as I was for like that first month. I've had stuff come up where I got sick and I was traveling and stuff, but I should be on a more consistent schedule this week, which I'm looking forward to. But other than that, I hope everyone has a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, y'all.